This is a Fox 61 Weather Watch Alert.
Hi everyone, Fox 61 Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank here on the Weather Watch, and we are in Weather Watch alert mode. Whether you're getting heavy rain or heavy snow from this storm, we're all going to be affected by it to different degrees, and it's all about elevation. And I wanted to break down the different parts of the state and what you can expect if you're watching us from there. First, I want to focus on the Northwest Hills, because this will likely be the highest impact for you guys, with a heavy, wet snow anticipated later tonight and continuing through much of the day tomorrow as well. That will result in snowy travel, also slippery conditions, plowable snowfall, and the chance for scattered outages in some of the areas that are able to get over a half a foot of snow. And that's really just going to be for the highest elevations above 1,000 feet. It's really beautiful snow that kind of clings to everything, to birdhouses, but also to trees and power lines. So that's something that we'll be keeping a close eye on. And because temperatures will be so borderline, right around or just a little bit above freezing, that's why we're saying it's going to be really heavy and really wet, because it has a high water content. It's kind of melting as it falls. For a lot of the rest of us, this is mainly just a rain and wind event. There could be a few snowflakes that mix in occasionally, but mostly rain for most of the state, and also gusty winds that could reach up to 35 miles per hour. And for the Connecticut shoreline, gusts could be even higher, up to around 45 miles per hour. That should be below the threshold needed for outages to be a big concern, but just giving you a heads up, especially if you have any Christmas decorations that may be out. So heading through the evening tonight, we'll continue to see that rain moving in with snow at the higher elevations. Then heading into the day tomorrow, let's think about Friday morning. Most of us are dealing with a wet and windy morning commute. This is when we'll see those peak wind gusts. Rain will come down heavy at times. It could be splashing through puddles, but that snow lingering in the Northwest Hills. And we'll show you the future radar in just a little bit. And heading into late Friday night, there is a chance as the storm is wrapping up that some towns might be able to flip over to a brief period of snow or a snow shower before this all comes to an end in the pre-dawn hours Saturday morning. That could result in a couple of slippery spots, but we're not anticipating much in the way of additional accumulation. You know, when we checked in an hour ago, precipitation was light across the state, but things are starting to pick up in intensity as expected here, especially in western and southwestern Connecticut. Seeing some steadier rain right now in Bethel, heavy rain in Fairfield, in Bridgeport, all the way through West Haven. In northwestern Connecticut, so far we've had reports of drizzle, light rain, and a light mix. I'd be interested to see, I haven't seen any reports just yet, if we are just seeing straight snow yet in areas like Goshen, where temperatures are closer to the freezing point. If we're not yet, we will be here shortly, because I think as these precipitation rates fill in, we're going to be more and more likely to see that snow start to fly, especially in northwestern Connecticut, as this storm moving in out of the Great Lakes ends up kind of transferring its energy to a new area of low pressure off the coast of New Jersey. Taking a look at temperatures, and you'll see why most of us are just getting rain. We're in the upper 30s to right around 40 degrees for most of the state, but we zoom into northwestern Connecticut and you'll see those numbers are a little bit closer to freezing. We're getting closer and closer there, so that's why this is the area that's of most concern for white conditions instead of wet conditions. So heading through the news at 10 and 11, precipitation continues to fill in. Check it out. Here, that heavy snow at midnight, and that could continue to develop down through Waterbury and just north of Danbury too. But we are right on the line between rain and snow. This is the morning commute on Friday. Notice most of the state is seeing rain. The exception here, northwestern Connecticut and maybe northeastern Connecticut too. I can't rule out that some snowflakes will be flying at elevation in northeastern parts of the state too. The heaviest precipitation that falls with this storm is going to be tonight and through the morning on Friday. As we head into the afternoon, it's still rainy, but it's just not as heavy as what we're expecting through the morning. And as we head into the evening, here's that last chance that we might be able to get a little bit of snow on the backside of the system for a couple locations. This is midnight, and by 6 a.m., it's gone, done, and over with. So taking a look at snowfall totals, I feel very confident that valley locations, the shoreline, southeastern Connecticut, are definitely not seeing any accumulation with this one. It's just going to be too warm. We are expecting mostly rain, other than maybe occasionally a snowflake is trying to mix in if we get some heavier precipitation up in northern Connecticut valleys. Otherwise, where it gets tricky is this sharp cutoff or this sharp gradient in snowfall totals. So again, higher elevations could see half a foot of snow or more, but it really comes down to a degree or two, whether we're closer to 6 or we're closer to 12. So it's a very, very challenging forecast there. And when we go from snow over to rain is also going to be a big question, because we think we do make that transition in southern Connecticut, or southern Litchfield County, I should say, and also in Waterbury. But how soon that happens really determines how much accumulates. But right now we've got Waterbury in the chance for an inch or two, Wolcott as well, which might be closer to 3. Wolcott seems to do a little bit better in situations like this. And Torrington, Winstead, for example, all included in that 6+ category. And again, 6 inches is right around the category where you start to see things beginning to get weighed down. 12 inches for sure. So hopefully we can stay away from the upper limit. I think that will get even more likely as you continue to travel north up through Massachusetts. And again, there is a chance for an inch or two in northeastern Connecticut too, just depending on if we can get that temperature to the right amount. Here's one of our computer models just to show you what it's thinking. And it kind of roughly falls in line with our forecast, showing not a lot of accumulation here down through the middle of the state. Most of the accumulation in northwestern Connecticut. This is through 5:30. I thought it would be interesting to show you that little back end snow puts the icing on the cake on this computer model for areas like Norfolk, where there could be up towards a foot of snow. And that sharp gradient, my goodness, you go from a foot to nothing over a very short area here in Connecticut. It is a small state, but a big variety in different types of weather. So a winter storm warning in effect for northern Litchfield County. That's in effect there because there's a chance for 6+ inches of snow. Their forecast really aligns with ours, and a wind advisory for the immediate Connecticut shoreline, where we could see those gusts up around 45 miles per hour. Some very minor coastal flooding possible through this event as well, although it doesn't look like it'll be anything too significant. Heading into your Friday, we're looking at high temperatures that are in the low 40s in Hartford, but upper 40s in Groton. That is a crazy warm temperature there. And heading into your Saturday, we're quiet by the time the sun comes up. But in areas that get a lot of snow, travel will remain slippery likely as folks try to kind of clean things up. But for most of the state, once the sun comes up, we're fine. The roads are still a little bit wet from the night before, but we're likely okay. That little back end dusting of snow might, we might wake up and be a little surprised by it, although you guys won't be surprised because you just watched this update, but a few people might be. Right around 40 degrees in Norwich and low 40s for a high temperature for the New Haven area. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. And it looks good heading into this weekend. It's just going to be chilly, 38 degrees for the high temperature on Sunday. By the way, Sunday is the first night of Hanukkah, and we'll see temperatures remain below or near average as we head through the first day of winter, which is on Wednesday, about a week from today. So this is Thursday. That's our next best chance for getting some storminess, and it has quite a bit of promise for something being over a week away. Don't normally talk about situations a week away, but it has a lot of good agreement that there is a storm that kind of develops nearby. So I know a lot of folks are kind of hoping this happens just because, white Christmas and everything. People are hoping for it. So put that in the back of your mind. We always know things 7 days out can be really, really tough to predict, but that's the next thing to watch. And we'll be doing it for you every step of the way. We hope to see you all tonight on the Fox